I'm starting recording now. So first of all, hello to everyone, and thank you to come today and to be part of this day presentation. And you will enjoy it so much because it's really good point and networking for UX designers. And also, I just wanted to let you know that we started today uh, with a design challenge that I sent you through email, I think. If someone doesn't have the link, just let me know. And I wanted to put here, I'm looking here the link to let you know here you can, yeah, you can put here, you can fill the form here, and you can be participating in the challenge, design challenge. This is for everyone from senior, aspiring, junior, intern students. And the main idea is to work together, learn from other cultures, mentor others, and try to deliver the best project for your portfolio, as well as interviews or whatever you need. Will have our support all the time, and you should ask for resources, books, tools, and feedback on Discord. So there you go. And also in August, you will have to present in a PowerPoint for this kind of meetings, weekly meetings. And this Friday, we will be selecting with Adam the team members and let you know the topic you should follow, you should work on. If you have any other idea or you want to develop or design something specific, just let me know, let us know, and we will write down to keep in mind. Yeah. And also, yeah, if there is someone here that is not in Discord now, I will give you here the Discord link invite, yeah? And for me, this is okay. Just I wanted to give you Zaid the host, and you can start make host. There we go.
Okay, so it says you are the host now.
Yeah, you can share.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay. Share.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you see the full screen? Is there something covering it, like the Zoom panels or anything? Is anything covering the presentation? No?
No, it's okay. No.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Zaid Hisham. I'm a UX designer, and I also do some copywriting on the side. This is a presentation I gave at a tech a networking forum for job seekers, people who had recently been sort of either laid off or having trouble finding work. And basically what happened was I've learned several different techniques that I pasted into a method, right? So these are things that I've learned from mentors or from coaches over time. And when you put it together, it works really well. And I should say before I start, whenever I use this method, no one ever says no. So no one ever says, no, I won't talk to you, or I won't do a call with you, or I won't meet with you, all right? So anybody who's available, they'll always say yes. And I'm gonna go ahead and explain why. But first, let's talk about a couple people who have inspired a lot of this deck. Dale Carnegie wrote a very important book that everybody should read. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So a lot of what you're going to learn today is based off of just one chapter in his book, and I'll talk about that later. But he's a very important person to read if you want to get good with working with people. The other cool thing you should know is that we are not going to do the typical networking. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to do something completely different. Why? Because we want completely different results than what other people get. Okay, we're not going to go to UX networking events. We're not going to go to meetups, in-person meetups, when you're able to do that now. Everybody's at home now, but we're not going to spend too much time in that. Okay. Other guy, Reid Hoffman, he's one of the founders of LinkedIn, and he has a great book called Startup of You. And one part of that book, he talks about building a network, right? And so the main takeaway of this book, if you want to sum it up, is really important. Here's the issue. You're competing against thousands of other people when, on your job hunt, right? And it's especially harder for people like me when I was starting out. I had no UX experience and no network. I came from the sort of nonprofit NGO world. I didn't know anybody in tech, so I had to start from scratch, right? So if you're like me and you're coming from a different field, this helps a lot. But the mindset you need to have, and I'm going to try to get this done by like 7, by like 8. The mindset you need to have is that this is like building a startup, right? You're going to have to work harder than other people and do things that other people may not have the energy or the will to do, right? Some of this stuff may not be fun or may even be embarrassing or new to you, all right? From the world of Star Wars, Darth Bane sort of reset the clock on the Sith. He killed all of the Sith. He started from scratch. He started from himself teaching one other person, and that person teaching one other person. And then if you read the books, they're pretty awesome. It's about 1,000 years between him and a Palpatine. But the reason Palpatine gets to sort of take over and take the grand plan into action is based off of Darth Bane and his concept of abiding your time and making connections and not being in a hurry, and focusing on strength and power, and not necessarily on time. All right. This doesn't mean this is a slow method. Rich Litvin, he's a life coach. He has a saying, slow down to speed up. So when you focus on quality, you get results. This is just part of a framework I put together called that I call UX 80/20. And I'm trying to work on like building up some like videos and things like that, but we're on this part. And you can do this asynchronously. You don't have to do this in a certain order, right? So this is something that you can start now. So if you have no UX experience, if you don't have a portfolio, I don't care where you are, you can start doing this tonight, okay? You don't have to wait for anything. So a couple of things to stop doing. We're gonna stop doing too many networking events and meetups, right? We're gonna stop lurking on LinkedIn and blind firing. That's just setting off our resume and portfolio. I used to waste a lot of time doing that. And we're gonna stop bugging family and friends, okay? This is a moratorium on low yield activities. So let's talk about the problems. Like, what are the problems? I'm not gonna go over this whole list, you can read it. But if you don't do activities that help you stand out, right? You'll just be one other person and a stack of resumes, right? And people like me and maybe Adam, who've been on the inside, actually been a part of interviews, right? You see that your manager gets a lot of random people applying for jobs, right? People don't even look at the job description. So you have lots of gatekeepers. You have broken HR technology. Maybe you apply online and your resume doesn't get through. Really weird hiring policies. We have to hire this. We have to hire that, right? A lot of that stuff is hard to get around. What's another example? Resumes aren't you, and neither is your work, right? People are trying to get a feel for who you are, right? And it's hard to do that just looking at somebody's resume or looking at their portfolio. And despite what you think, people hire for culture and not skills. In general. You have to understand that most companies are not Google, right? They're not these sort of fantasy companies you dream about working at, who have some sort of hiring process where they try to actually evaluate you and give you questions and give you design exercises, right? Most of the time it's just an interview or 2 or 3 interviews, all right? And people generally hire who they know, right? So this is the part that we're going to hack, okay? This is the part that we are going to hack. How do you get to know somebody really quickly and get on their good side, establish rapport, okay? Another problem is you have different managers who are dogmatic on the school of UX that they come from. Maybe they come from the sort of very academic HCI crowd. Maybe they come from the startup crowd. And maybe they come from the agency crowd. Those are all different crowds, right? So they're already going to have a bias as to what kind of UX they like to see, right? So again, you want to lead with yourself and not only with your work. This is going to augment your work, all right? There's a lot of background here because the actual method is very simple, but I just have to get you in a mindset of the sort of mental background of this, okay? So here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to start here and reach somebody here who does have an opening and it hasn't hit the HR system yet, okay? It's very common. It's very common for a manager to already have somebody in mind, have a short list of people in mind. They ask their team, hey, we have headcount for one more person. Who should we talk to, right? And that team is already going to send in the people that they're interested in. That's the short list, right? And then they pick from that short list. Yeah, we want this. We want to talk to this person and that person and this person. Then the rec goes to the HR system. So when you apply on Intel or Google or Microsoft, that rec is on there. If that job is on there, they already have 2 or 3 people in mind already, okay? So the trust level, this is how teams get around, hey, I want to hire somebody who I can trust. So I go through my network, okay? So we want to hop, skip, and jump from one person to another person to another person who eventually has an opening or is planning on creating an opening. And then they'll tell you, hey, the opening hit the system, go ahead and apply for it. And then they close it down. That's how people get hired most of the time, okay? So there's this concept in career coaching called planned happenstance. And basically it's this idea of, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to create the conditions to get what we want, all right? So instead of relying on luck, it's more like making your luck per se, right? So there's 3 activities and it's 7:46, all right, almost done. There's 3 activities. There's outreach, which has its own method, right? This is very important. And then the actual reverse interview, and then follow up. Okay. Okay, this is the important part. This is the important part. And I'll give this deck out to everybody so you can copy it. But there's a lot of deep psychology going on here. You need to actually copy this. Do not change it. Do not change the order I have it, right? Only fill in the blanks, okay? And this works. If you do this, people will not say no to you, right? So when we contact people via email or LinkedIn, say it's somebody, it's a manager at a company and they're in a domain we're interested in, for example, self-driving cars or insurance or banking or blockchain, whatever, right? It always helps to have something that you're interested in, because then you can say, hey, I'm really interested in this thing. Can I ask you questions about it? And I see that you have some expertise in it. All right. So we're going to lead in with opening, hi, good morning or afternoon, right? Now, this is how you signal to people in their minds that you're not a stalker, right? You're going to tell them how you found them, okay? And then, or so-and-so told me, said you would be a good person to talk to about, right? Or I found your profile on LinkedIn, you seemed like a good person to talk about. This is the important part. Good person to talk about, good person to talk about, right? We're not talking about jobs here. We're trying to insert ourselves into people's minds, and we're trying to sort of live in their head, right? So after that, why do you want to talk to them?
I'm interested papers and I'm listening to a talk.
Hello?
They're teaching me how to.
You can, hey Zaid, why don't you go down and mute? You can pull up participants and mute everybody.
Yeah. And also, Zaid, you can unmute the people.
Oh.
Yeah, so sorry.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I did not see those people.
No, don't worry.
Sorry.
It's hard to be a host, right?
Yeah, so mute. Oh, shoot, I muted you. No, everybody's muted.
Okay.
Everybody's pretty much.
Okay, just keep an eye out for people who are trying to join too, but cool.
Okay. Oh man, I missed those people. Sorry. All right. So after that, you talk about the reason that you want to contact them, right? The more specific, the better, right? It's like the idea, don't contact me if you haven't actually read my profile or read the article, right? So you want to look through their profile and say, wow, that person has a similar background, for example, right? I was a graphic designer, so I was more interested in people who came from a graphic design background. So you have some commonality, right? And I want to know how you did it. How'd you make the jump, right? I'm interested in X, and I saw your profile, and that you've done it for quite some time, right? What's your availability for coffee or lunch? Now this is now a Zoom meeting or a call, right? Now, notice I'm always talking about them. I'm not talking about me. I didn't ask them to spend time looking at my portfolio, right? I didn't ask them to look at my profile. I said, I want to learn about you. I want to interview you, right? So this is where Dale Carnegie comes in. People, so here's the principle. People like you when they get to talk about them, even if you didn't say a word. So in their mind, they're like, yeah, Adam, I like that guy. I like that guy. Have you ever heard Adam talk? No. I only talked about myself in his presence. I love Adam. I don't know why though, right? So again, this is where the psychology comes in. And this works. You have to try it. Trust me, it works. Trust me, it works. In like really strange ways. Okay. I really like to get the perspective and advice of someone like you. And if they aren't local, Zoom calls. In person, obviously, in person is always better. In-person coffee meetings. I've contacted people on a LinkedIn. I don't know them. And they will meet me for coffee. They'll walk out their office and walk down the street and meet me for coffee. Okay? They'll do it, trust me. And we'll talk about why that is a little bit later. All right, so here's some sample questions. The most important part is open-ended questions. You ask them about their day. Like, what's your day like? What kind of activities do you do, right? How's your team set up? You know, so show up like an intern. Even if you know about design process, pretend you don't, right? And I always say, oh, really? That's interesting. How does that work out for you? See? So really, wow, that's fascinating. Why is that? What do you think about? That's the conversation. That's the conversation, right? So you're always putting them in the seat of interviewee. You're always putting them in a seat of like, they're the expert, master, Mr. Miyagi, can you please teach me? Can you please teach me? Please teach me, right? You have that attitude, right? Even if you want to take a pen and pencil and like, or a pencil and a pad and actually like take notes, right? Like that. People love that. They get so happy. They love it. It's the highlight of their day. It's the highlight of their day. They'll love you. Trust me, they'll love you if you come with this attitude, right? Let's see, always close with, this is the real important part. Okay. Open-ended, again, this is super important. Who else should I talk to? Notice you never mention job openings because people don't know, right? If they don't know, the answer in their mind is yes, no, binary, okay? 1 and 0. So if you ask that, you turn that person off. They say, yeah, I actually don't know, because most people don't know, right? But they usually know somebody else that you could talk to. Oh, my friend, my coworker, now he's a manager at this company. They're doing cool stuff. You should talk to them, right? People will do that all day if you ask them, who should I talk to? Who should I talk to, right? And this is, you know, the really important piece that I learned from this career coach is to end with this, right? And then you can follow up later, you know, via email, or, you know, if you need that person's actual like email address or a LinkedIn profile, right? So the goal here is you want to expand this as much as possible. You want to go as deep as possible, and just keep talking to people, right? And weird things happen, you know, like so for example, I go to events or I go to classes sometimes, and I talk to people, and they'll be the people who will end up getting you hired like years later. Like one job I had was from somebody I had to work with literally like 4 or 5 years before, you know? But if you come with that attitude, they'll think of you and they say, hey, I have an opening here. Is something you would like to look at, right? So why does this work? Why does this work? So this just goes into the general state of people in 2020, right? And it's probably even worse now because people are locked down, they're at home, they're even more bored. They're even more lonely and bored, right? So people generally don't know of openings, right? And we already covered this. Asking people about jobs turns people, turns their actual mind off, right? We want to keep their mind on. We want to keep in the back of their head. We want to live in their head rent free, okay? People like to talk about themselves, right? When people go home, you know, they may go to their partner or their kids. They're interested in in their work usually, you know. So you're the one person in their life that asked them and expressed a fascination in their actual day-to-day work, like their work-a-day work, right? Not as a concept, like what do you do at work, right? People are lonely and bored, right? That's why social media works on people, right? Sane people are not on social media all day. They are not. So people are lonely and bored. People want other people to be interested in them. The likes, Facebook likes, Instagram likes.
I think we lost him.
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
I think he dropped.
I got kicked off the meeting. Am I still on?
You're back.
Yeah.
Can you share
Wow,
again?
I got kicked off. Yeah. Am I still the host?
Host? Let me see. No, you're not.
Wow, it just closed on me.
Oh my gosh. Maybe just we have a lot of problem with Zoom meeting. Yeah, Zoom is
I'm almost done. Almost done. Yeah.
That is
I'm
interesting. You are
okay. I'm gonna switch cameras and see if that helps.
Mhm.
I'm gonna switch cameras. And I'm gonna stop my video and then I'm gonna share my screen, okay?
Yeah.
Almost done though. All right. People fantasize about giving TED Talks. Oh, sorry, I didn't ask. Can you all see my screen? Yeah. All right. So people want to sort of have the chance to explain their design passion to you and what they really care about to you, right? Nobody gives undivided attention anymore. People are looking at their phones. You're going to be having a paper and pencil and you're going to be looking at them. You're not going to be checking your phone, right? Now, for me, this is really huge because it's really easy to meet with people for coffee. You don't have to go to a networking meeting and figure out how to butt in to existing conversations where natural extroverts always win. They always win in person in some event, right? If you're introverted, like a lot of us, it's really easy to just meet people for coffee. It's so relaxing. There's no stress. There's no anxiety, right? So it's easy to do. And it's fun, being able to connect with one-on-one person. Listen, this goes back to TED. The founder of TED, right, Richard Saul Wurman, right? He was a designer. You know that? So he's the guy who founded TED. And his book is called Information Anxiety. It's a very cool book. He said the highest level of interaction is the conversation, one-on-one, two people.
Yeah.
One-on-one. But now people are at TED, giving these weird talks where they're not really, they're not using TED how he intended. That's basically what I'm trying to say. All right, that's it. And then the homework is to make a list of people, take what you're interested in, take a domain that you're interested in, right? Or start with either a domain or your current field. If you're an architect and you're currently going through the GA UX course, for example, go look up people who were architects before and talk to them. There's a natural sort of a connection. And they'll tell you, man, if I have to do it over, this is how I would do it. So they have some great advice for you, right? Prioritize the list any way you want, maybe based off of location, right? Just start with like 4 or 5 people, maybe in your time zone. That's helpful, right? And then just start reaching out again using this script. So use the script, obviously take out this stuff, right? But think of ways that you can insert how you are similar to that person. They're in a domain that you're interested in. They're from a field that you're interested in. They're from a town that you're interested in, or they're from your town. I see you're also from the Bay Area. I'm from the Bay Area. How'd you end up in Seattle? This is how I ended up in Seattle. You see what I'm saying? So you have things that you can connect with people on. And that's it. And if you need help constructing this script, or even finding people or having ideas to how you can find people that you can connect to, just hit me up on LinkedIn. But that's it. If anybody wants the deck, also just go ahead and hit me up on LinkedIn, and so you can have the script so you can copy it. That's it. It's 8:03. I was over by 3 minutes. Does anybody have any questions before we go to the next topic? Do I have to?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, so in one of the slides, it said, show up like an intern. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
What I mean by that is, show up like you are coming to learn from them. That's all I mean by that.
Okay.
Like the idea of you're coming to learn from them. You're not a colleague. You're not a colleague.
Okay.
That's not the attitude you should take. You're not like, yeah, oh yeah, me too. You don't say that. You're always saying, oh yeah, really? That's interesting. Or how'd you learn that? Or how was that? So that's the attitude. It's just talking about it. That was just a way for me to shorten like how your attitude should be. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Do I have to unmute people?
Hey, Zaid.
Hey,
Zaid. One thing I noticed is that it's kind of like a theme throughout all of your stuff, is that you're removing barriers to entry. You're removing reasons why somebody would say no. And
right.
That attitude of showing up like an intern doesn't prevent, it allows the conversations to happen. I mean, you don't need to be talking yourself up. You know, they don't necessarily want to take a meeting where somebody's just going to talk about themselves, right? But if there's somebody there that wants to learn, then they'd be more willing to have the conversation.
Yes, exactly. Because you aren't a threat. You aren't a threat, right? They'll see you as a threat. Oh, this person is going to try to apply on my team or my workplace, right? This person is coming to learn from me. I get the chance to teach somebody, or mentor somebody. Everybody wants to do that. You know what I mean? That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
I have a question. I guess one thing I'm still wondering.
Mm-hmm.
So after you do kind of get to know them, do the informational interview, let's say you are looking actively for a job, and how would you bring up that subject
Sure.
if it's somebody you already know, like to ask if they're hiring? Or like, I guess that could be like, who would you talk to? Who else can I talk to? But yeah.
So you asked if you are looking.
Yeah.
How would you bring it up? Don't bring it up.
But even if it's with someone you know, like if it's someone you already know.
Let them bring it up.
Yeah, let them bring it up. Yeah. It really turns people off.
In sales and networking and job searching, you want them to ask you for the services that you're offering,
Yeah.
or you want them to ask you to apply to a job that you're interested in.
Yeah.
It's proximity. So you're putting yourself on their radar, you're getting them to like you, you're showing that you have skills in their space that would fulfill a need, and then they have the idea in connecting you with this job. So it's, yeah, in the background, you're like, yes, I'm totally excited for this job. I totally want it.
I know.
Here's the URL. I've been researching your company for like a month and a half, and I've been having a hard time getting connections with people there. Like, no, like you want it to be their idea. And just like, you know, if you have a boss or a manager and they tend to not, you know, you want an idea to be executed, let it be their idea. Like, you know, get it.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. Now, what you can do though is when you follow up on LinkedIn, you say, "Oh, thanks for taking the time to meet with me. I know you must be totally busy because you're such an important person, right?" What you do is they see you on their feed now, right? And what you can do is just post interesting content, ask interesting questions. You can ask them directly. You can ask them interesting questions like, say, "I read this book. What do you think about this idea that I read in a book?" So you're showing them that you're able to read books, for example, right? Or you can say, "I'm thinking of taking this class. What do you think about it?" You see what I'm saying? So you're showing initiative, right? You're showing that you can sort of learn on the fly, right? So in a way, you are still showing up in their life, either asking them questions or showing up in their feeds, so they can see what you're doing. So that's a kind of stealth way to show them what you're doing. You know what I mean? Asking interesting questions. Even maybe just posting a new piece on your LinkedIn. "Oh, I added a new piece to my portfolio. I worked on this interesting project. What do you guys think about it?" You know, so you can always do that outside, and it's in direct. But what Adam says is right. And yes, you will want to. Like my friend, he worked at Google, and he got me an email introduction to a Google to the UX manager for a Google Fiber. But I knew I couldn't ask her about job stuff. I couldn't do it, right? But I got a lot out of her just from talking back and forth. You know what I mean? So I've gotten intros to cool people just because I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. You know what I mean? So I know that's not the best.
One way
you know,
that
like
I get,
you're in a hurry. You know.
You can ask. No, you're in mute. Adam, you're in mute.
Sorry. So
I'm gonna stop my video again.
One way that
you can stop.
One way that you can get somebody to talk to you about a specific role is by doing the stuff that Zaid is talking about, and then giving them leads on other roles that they're hiring for, and offering, finding people who are a match for other roles that they're. Then you make the intro, you talk that person up, talk the person, the company up, and by doing that, you're letting them know that you're interested. You could say, they're on the top 5 list of companies that I want to work for. Just by saying that, you're saying you're interested. And then they'll see that, they'll engage with the person you introduced, and then they'll ask you about that other role that they're trying to hire for. Anyways, it's just a way to, but for me, like, I diversify. Like I'll do what Zaid does. I'll get warm intros. I will cold email and ask people. I'll just apply directly. Sometimes I will just see a job description and I'll go follow 60 plus people at the company. 3 to 4 people will reach out to me and connect with me after I followed them, start organic conversations. If I'm really interested in the company, I'll get emails and I'll send out connection requests to more people at the company, start organic conversations, add value to them in a way, do some informational interview stuff like Zaid has talked about. And then in those conversations, you're going to find out if you want to work for that company or not. It's going to help you with information that you're going to need in order to like land the interview. And then also in those conversations, you're going to have people who are just going to introduce you to the hiring manager. So there's a lot of different avenues, but I think what Zaid has talked about is the fundamentals of it. If you can do that, what Zaid is doing, it will start to build your network. And then as you build it, you'll have more options and you'll develop more strategies. And I think everyone is different. So that means that like, you're going to have unique strategies that will be perfect for you. And what Zaid talked about people's profiles and finding connections, like if you're into pottery, you're unique. Not everybody does pottery. So you're going to have a connection with a person more so than others. So finding your unique strengths, like Zaid was talking about.
Absolutely. Especially if it has nothing to do with UX. That's fantastic. If it is pottery, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you're giving people a little break, in their day to talk about what they're what other hobbies they're interested in,
And Zaid, what was your experience in the process to get in Microsoft, for example?
Honestly, those were just interviews. That was through one of these contracting companies, Aquint, Aquint.
Mm.
So Aquint sort of gets you the interview. You know what I mean?
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually didn't expect to get hired at all at Microsoft. I just wanted to go in there and go into the building and just talk to them. So that's literally the attitude I went in there with. I was totally open and honest. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. All this work, I'm just doing these different projects to learn. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I was totally open and honest with them. So, but I got caught up in all the Microsoft layoff drama. So I wasn't there for long anyway.
Okay. Yeah, but you did it.
So like I have a connection at Microsoft in a unique way where I just networked with somebody and I ended up giving them intros to architects to design their beach house in California. So now, after taking the time to introduce them to some really good architects, the guy's never going to forget me,
Exactly.
So it's like, so now I can go back to him at any time and say, yo, how's the beach house planning going? Like, I heard, anyways, but there's an in to, so like good connections like that, you don't want them to die either. And so it's good to reconnect on a regular basis, and finding ways to connect, could be information you gleaned from them, like of similar interest, things that in their life that you could follow up on with them.
But it's kind of difficult to find a person that has similar ideas like you, or it's difficult. I am thinking. I'm struggling with this kind of thing, because here there are a lot of things. There are a lot of people different from United States, and here also in this community on Shaper or on Lunch Club or other different applications to network.
I think people want different. I think people always say this. I want to speak with people that have common ways of thinking. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to people who are unique and fun to be around, and that I can learn from. Like, I don't want to talk to somebody that has the same mindset as me. Like, how boring would that be? So
yeah.
And also, how to avoid the financial people that is telling you the financial advice, or
those people.
Yeah.
I find the cues. Anytime somebody wants you to say, anytime they have a regular job title on their LinkedIn, and then they're offering advice about how to have a better life and more time for your family, and like freedom to do what you want, and all of that crap. It's like MLM, World Financial Group, like Legal Shield, like you name it. Like, and so sometimes people put on their profile, please no MLMs. Me, I don't do that. I just call, when I have a conversation, I give people the benefit of the doubt, and then I just call them out on their shit. I'm like, tell me, it's Amway, right? Like, they'll go in, and like, I don't want to have like a 10-minute conversation with you that's all feel good, and then you're gonna throw a mic drop. And I'm like, your e-commerce business, it better be selling t-shirts and cool like 3D model printing stuff, because I sure as heck am not getting down on your Amway train. So anyways, so like, I just tell them straight out, like, I can't do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had two user experience professionals that sells me financial advices or courses or whatever. So yeah. How to avoid that?
I just turn them down, and I try to add value to them in some way. Like, I gave some guy advice about, he's an MLM guy, but I gave him some branding help with his other business that wasn't MLM. Yeah. But so I think you can always turn it around to have some opportunity to do business with somebody. So no matter what background they're doing, but I don't know. You'll know when you're kind of fed up, you know, with the conversation. Like, you'll have enough of them, and then you'll be like, okay, I can't take it anymore. And then you're more blunt, you know, like, I mean, just like in relationships, like if somebody's like constantly not picking up after themselves, you know, eventually you tell them, hey, pick that up or else. You know, it's like.
I see you. Yeah. Zaid, do you have a question from Pia? If you wanted to ask out loud.
Oh yeah. I was actually typing it. I'll just talk. Yeah. So yeah, people will think of you because, like I said, in the beginning of the deck, you know, do something different to experience something different. No one else is going to do this. No one else is going to invite somebody for coffee. Even people who I try to coach to do this, they won't do it. Nobody will do it. They won't do it. And I'm like, dude, just do it. I only have one person who actually actually met with people, right? A lot of people who I try to help do this, they won't do it. So if you do it, even if you meet people for a Zoom call, you know, or you call them while they're out to lunch or something, they will think of you. They will think of you, especially again if you follow up later on a LinkedIn and you maybe show up in their feed, you know, writing, not sharing articles. Do not sharing articles on LinkedIn is not a good. Don't do that. Writing original content, because one thing is that communication is very important skill in UX, and you're going to demonstrate that you can do that because you're going to write interesting posts or interesting Medium articles or just LinkedIn posts, right? So you're going to show up in their life. You're going to maybe follow up with them every maybe 3 or 4 months or something. Just ask them how they're doing, and just, you know, invent some random question just to ask them. Especially like Adam said, asking them about the beach houses. That's the best thing, because this is why, right? If you ask me about my beach house makes me happy. So when you show up in my life, I get happy. You get it? So I associate you with like a good feeling. You aren't bugging me. You aren't bugging me. So Pia, that's my answer. Is please don't mention the job thing, because that's not how people get hired. People get hired through the beach house. That's not how people get hired. You know, if you here's a very cool thing to do. Go on LinkedIn and look at how many people have the title UX designer or interaction designer or visual designer, right? Look at the first time they had that title, and then look at the title right before that in time. And you'll say, what happened? How did that person go from graphic designer or architect? Or I know 2 people who attended, who were part of my meetup when I was in Seattle. One that actually came to meet me at a boba coffee place, tea place, and asked me questions. Both of them made the jump. One was a business analyst, and I helped her plot the path from BA to a UX. And the other person was an architect, right? The other person was an architect. And I looked them up. Both of them made the jump. So there's a point where somebody hires you and you have no experience. Do you get it? There's a point where you get hired and you were a BA before. You see what I'm saying? Or you were a programmer before, but somebody takes a chance because of the beach house, because they like you, or you both like pottery, or you both like, you know, some sort of you both like fishing, for example, right?
Somebody went to bat for you. There's a checkbox that
Yes.
matters. It's, do they like you? And you may have some checkboxes that are not checked, but somebody there on the panel of interviewing you will go to bat for you and get you hired.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. And again, if you do what I was taught, which was take whatever work you did and create a portfolio out of it, because a UX portfolio just shows that you know how to think. So my first UX portfolio was graphic design work. It was not work on a website. It was not work on an app. It was all print work. But what this person coached me through was taking all of my work and only picking out the pieces where I felt that I solved a problem, that I thought through a concrete problem or some sort of constraint or difficult requirement, because that's the essence of working as user experience person. You see what I'm saying? So so your portfolio is just to prove that you know how to think. It doesn't matter what kind of work is in it. It doesn't matter. You could be a soccer coach. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? So I got off track. Try not to take too much time, but yeah, just talk to people, establish, you know, a friendship, not even a friendship, just like, I know that person, you know what I mean? Other than just a blind LinkedIn connect. That doesn't do anything. And I used to do that a lot. I still do that, which is bad, you know what I mean? So, you know, it always helps to actually like know people, to actually know them and know about their life, you know? And you'll show up. Like, okay, so for example, one of the first UX jobs that I applied to, I interviewed, and they came back like months later and interviewed me again. So, you know, you come to mind among, you know, the people that a manager has interviewed. You know, they'll always, you know, if they're interested, they'll circle back, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Yeah. The network is is the best.
Positive association. Yes, forming a positive association. Exactly, Pia. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
You wanna add here your LinkedIn, and we can connect together with all attendants. Everyone can put their own.
Oh, okay. So I just put my LinkedIn in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. This is yours, Jason Mark. Yeah.
Oh, that didn't work.
Ah, there's it's no. Okay, that's cool. You should follow each other.
Yeah. Anybody, you know, if anybody needs help doing this, I have a Calendly link that I'll put in the
Yeah, you
in the
have.
chat. Yeah, and you could just book a call with me. Okay, check this out. This is cool, and I'll end with this. So I have been trying to land consulting clients for a while. Okay, doing not design stuff, doing the copywriting, sales funnels, marketing, email marketing, and I showed up in my local Chamber of Commerce weekly, just open Zoom call. And there's only there's only like 3-4 other people in the call. Okay. And so I showed up and I said, hey, I'm interested in knowing if there's any businesses that have been affected by the shutdowns that I could help, you know, with their email marketing, getting more customers, or reconnecting with the customers via email, or working on their sales page. I have some e-commerce experience, e-commerce UX experience. So I was like, I can help them with their home pages, their e-commerce pages, and they helped me, or they sent me over to another person at the Chamber of Commerce who is working on an actual program. I didn't know about this. Check this out. I did not know about this. I didn't know. I was just trying to be helpful. I didn't know about this. And the next day I had a call with this person, and she says, oh, we have a program where we assemble a team of freelancers, consultants, and we're gonna send the different businesses on our list who need help. And then you bill the Chamber of Commerce. It's a government program, the CARES Act. I didn't know about any of this. So within 3 days, I'm in this team and I'm meeting them all for lunch. I didn't know about that whole thing. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know. But now I'm you know, I had 2 meetings with one a client, a pianist, and to me that's so much fun. It's like not even doing work. It's not even doing work. It's so much fun for me, and I'm billing the Chamber of Commerce $200 an hour. I didn't know about any of that. But it's because I showed up, I went on their really beat up ass website, and I clicked around long enough to look for Beaverton Chamber of Commerce for a Zoom meeting. Oh, they have weekly Zoom meetings. Maybe I'll go in there and I'll just hang out and ask them questions, right? I wasn't even trying to find money. I was just trying to like practice on people. I was like, give me some local businesses I can just practice my copywriting on because I'm interested in working on that skill. I didn't know it was for money when I talked to this lady. I didn't know that. So that's the planned happenstance part. That's the part where you don't know where it leads to. But if you put yourself out there long enough, random things will come. And you're like, I didn't know that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I've always done. I've always formed meetup groups. I've always jumped on this kind of thing. When Adam asked me, I was like, yes, I'll do that. Sure. I'll jump on this call. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we were the first one. You remember?
Yeah, and it was right during prime time. My kids were like screaming and stuff, and it's time for dinner. I was like, I'll do this anyway, because I know that this kind of activity leads to things. So that's why when I was asked to present, I said, yes, I have something I can present. I can look in my Google Drive. I have something, right? So everything in my world is yes. And so if you can take that attitude, things will come to you, because things lead to other things, right? One full-time UX job I had for like 3 years was only because somebody asked me to do some HTML prototyping for their work. And it was only supposed to be a month. It was only supposed to be 1 month of work. 1 month ended up being their 3 years full-time job, because I was already in there. You see what I'm saying? I didn't say, oh, that's only a month of work. Yeah, I could bill, right? I didn't know. You don't know what is hidden. So you have to kind of go around and you have to kind of like turn stones over. And that's part of what this method is. It's just one way, and Adam has more ways, one way of turning over stones. So anyway, I'm gonna end with that.
I love the happenstance
I
stuff.
will stop talking.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
happenstance stuff reminded me of like when you're going for a drive in a place you don't know and discovering that random ice cream shop, or that thing, and it's just amazing, right? And you're like, I would have never known about this place if I wouldn't have taken the opportunity. So yeah, awesome, Zaid.
Thank you, Zaid. Amazing one. Amazing presentation. Thank you. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Bravo. How did you feel, Zaid? Nervous being the host? No, you are on mute. You are on mute.
No, like I said, I do this all the time. I meet people all the time.
Oh, nice.
I do it all the time. I
Great.
so.
Yeah. So I'm happy to having you here again. You have to keep coming.
Okay.
Don't forget. Thank you, Zaid.
I already know that we want you to speak again. So get working on your next thing that you're going to present.
Sure, man. Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I think we should finish. Guys, if you wanted to participate in this design challenge, please sign in. Fill the form that I put below here. I wanted to put here again. If Friday we will selecting the teams, yeah, and let you know in emails. So.
And is there still a happy hour this Friday or no happy hour? Is it a weekly?
No, it's happy hour is in the end of the each month.
Last Friday.
The last
Friday of the month. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is it meeting every Wednesday or something? Well, I'm new to this group, sorry, in IterateUX. So what do you?
Every Wednesday. We're we're not normal. We can't get enough of the Zoom meetings every week, every Wednesday.
At 7:30, not 7, neither 60:30, neither 8, 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You in mute, Adam, always.
oh, our happy hour is not during happy hour, but we don't care. We're just gonna call it happy hour
I
anyway.
was really, really happy. Last happy hour Friday was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it was
Yeah, really, really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I think we finished the hour. Yeah.
okay.
So I hope you all enjoy. And thank you, Zaid, for your presentation. It was amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.